Yeah, it's your boy Danny J. Quick, and I'm here with Kyron Silva. And we want to thank you for joining the Four Tales podcast.
I want to know what it is Quick is trying to say.
We're about to talk some comics and get a little bit controversial. Everything from indie books to movie to level commercial. With no rehearsals when we converse to coerce you. And then we do the quick takes and try to get to the person. So join us and get your comic book a few more sales once a week wherever you pod. It's Four Tales. Once a week wherever you pod. It's Four Tales.
I don't know why. I feel like that was longer than normal.
I mean, I think just because we started a little late, it feels like it was. But yeah.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, Taurus Comics in collaboration with Fourth Wall Productions respectfully brings to you the 160th episode of the Four Tales podcast. I am your host, Kyron Silva from Taurus Comics. Across the way is the Violet storyteller ace of Ace Blade, Danny J. Quick, and together we are your two award-winning Blurred comic creators here to help you find your next favorite comic. We are live on Age the Geekdom Network via Facebook, Twitch, YouTube, and Danny's TikTok. So if you're listening or watching us live, thank you for your support. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share, and review this podcast because all your positive reviews, interactions help us reach a bigger audience. Okay, is there a reason why we're showing off Battle Beast and Black Panther?
No, just to boost the algorithm. That's all. Like, people are talking about them, so you got to show them and do the thing that people do. So you got to show.
So we're doing controversial stuff.
Got to say Superman. You got to say
Batman,
Thunderbolts, Batman,
Spider-Man.
Yeah. So now the algorithm knows to get us to the right people. That's all it is.
And white Black Panther. We're gonna get the outrage people too.
The new Black Panther is white. So there we go. We got it.
Wait. Let's slow down on that because your TikTok said you read it and you don't think it's really Black Panther's kid.
Yeah, no, I don't think it is. I think this is the classic marketing, black outrage, make everybody mad so they talk about it, get them in there to buy the comics. It worked on me. Like, I didn't even know there was a Black Panther book coming out until people said, "Oh, look, the new Black Panther is white." And then I was like, I know what this is, but I don't like to. I'm personally not the type of person who likes to talk about stuff online if I haven't actually read it. You know what I'm saying? Like, if I haven't read it or seen the movie, I'm not going to disparage. I'm not going to disparage it. At least I'll talk about it, but I'm not going to disparage something that I haven't actually read. So then when I read it, I was just like, "Oh, I see what this is. I think I can see what it is." So
I appreciate you adding that caveat of watch the movie, because there have been things you talked about online that you didn't read, but you saw the movie about, and you're all like, "I'm gonna go off on this."
Yeah.
No.
But if I watch the movie, yeah, if I feel like I can speak on the content if I've actually seen the content now, but
okay,
it's all good. Longtail says that's Aquaman's kid.
That's Aquaman's.
That's hilarious.
That's Black Manta's kid.
Terrible.
All right, I know we started late, but it's a new week. Is there anything you want to talk about? Discuss?
Nah, man, that was it, man. I'm just happy to be here this week, man. I like it, man. I'm happy to be online talking comic books and still making comics. And my dogs just came downstairs, so they're happy to hear. They're happy to hear from you too.
Okay, Kevin Chapman in the chat talking about. I'll talk about it. Black Panther became Cracker Cat. Wow, bruh,
that's terrible. Kevin is hilarious.
You're not wrong, but that's wrong.
Hey, that's hilarious. I love it.
Wow, Kevin, we got to have you on the
Happy Pride Month, everybody. For everybody. Happy Pride Month.
Okay.
Longtail said Happy Pride Month, and she said Whack Panther, not Black Panther, but Whack Panther. Yeah. So we'll see. I think Christopher Priest can tell a good story. So I think I'll give it the 6 issues, and I'll check it out. So
I don't know why, but you remember that old, God, that's an old like YouTube song with this guy talking about I miss my and he
oh
goes,
yeah,
all you white people can say.
no, terrible. No, we're not doing that in 2020.
We're not doing that. Okay. I didn't know. All right. I guess you brought this up last week really quickly and you just dropped it and didn't even talk about it, you just moved on. So I guess let's talk about this real quick. You and I and a bunch of other creators are putting together a little something something.
Yeah,
what are we calling it? Oh yeah, Panels in Paradise.
that's
The
right.
Indie Swimsuit Edition. Do you
You
want to
see,
maybe give?
Marvel's trying to steal our idea. We decided to do this first, and then Marvel said that they want to do a swimsuit edition too, and they got Adam Hughes doing their art. But we got
Wait, Kevin, you are about to get blocked because that's just wrong. That's just wrong.
Terrible.
That's
terrible.
Wrong. I don't even know what to go. I don't know where to go from there.
Yes, we are doing an indie swimsuit edition. With myself and Kyron and a couple of other creators are going to be doing, some indie pinups, just like Marvel and DC used to do back in the day. Did DC do
them? I don't remember DC doing.
Maybe DC didn't do them, but I know Marvel used to do them back in the day. And we're gonna gather a few indie creators. Ace Blade is gonna be in there. We got Saul the Lightning Wielder.
Can I show a work in progress video?
You got the power. Go ahead. Before we bring up our guests, we'll show a little.
Welcome to Panels in Paradise, where indie comics meet island heat. This isn't your average comic showcase. It's bold. It's badass. It's a celebration of indie excellence. These women aren't damsels, they're dynamos, and they're stealing the show. Behind every panel is a passionate indie creator making magic with every brushstroke and beat. This isn't just a comic book drop, it's a vibe, a vacation into vibrant, diverse indie storytelling. We're bringing the party straight to your screen, and we want you to be a part of it. Kickstart your summer with comics that sizzle. Panels in Paradise, where indie gets hot. Now on Kickstarter.
Thank you.
There we go.
I apologize. I started that right when you're in the middle of your sentence, so I apologize for that.
No, it's all good. I didn't think you want to play the whole thing, but no, Kevin, Ace Blade is not going to be in a thong. Maybe issue 2. We'll see. So now that we've talked about us enough,
okay,
talking about great creators, man, people who are really doing the thing, man. We have an amazing guest on this week. The homie from Richmond. Is it Richmond, Virginia? Omari Malik.
Yes, sir.
Is on born and raised in Richmond, Virginia. He's kind of a superhero himself. I heard that I was reading a book. You lost your father at an early age, and he was kind of your inspiration for comics. And you moved to New York City. for college, and started literally from the bottom, man. So welcome to the show, brother. We wanna welcome you. But for anybody who hasn't seen your work before, give us a quick intro to you, and what you do.
What's up? What's up? Can everybody hear me?
Yeah.
This sounds all good, right?
Sure.
Yeah.
Um,
Can hear you.
yeah, as you mentioned, my name is Omari Malik. I was born and raised in Richmond, Virginia, and I guess long story short, I've been like a comic book lifer. I like to joke and say anybody that was a marketing person in the early 2000s, I made them a lot of money because if you had a cartoon and a toy, I wanted it. So that mixed it like my dad was a big 90s comic book guy, so I grew up around a lot of Chuck Dixon Batman, a lot of Denny O'Neil, a lot of No Man's Land, a lot of that stuff and the image books and all types of stuff like that. So that kind of like festered in me and kind of like gave me the creative bug. And funny enough, being that I was an early 2000s kid born in the late 90s, manga and anime was a big thing. And
Yeah.
because I was a stupid kid, I didn't realize that those were jobs. Like I didn't realize that it's like, oh, you could go work at Marvel and DC. Like I'm
Hmm.
looking at Naruto and I see Kishimoto wrote it and created it. I look at Dragon Ball Z, I'm like, oh, Akira Toriyama. Then I'm looking at Bane and I'm like, all right, Chuck Dixon wrote this and he created Bane. I guess the only way to do comic books is to make my own things. So like
Mm.
I always kind of grew up thinking it's like, oh, if I want to do comics, I have to make my own. And then kind of when you look like this and you grow up in Richmond, Virginia, comic books doesn't seem like the most attainable thing for, very practical parents. So I was, pushed in to rightfully so. I appreciate my mother for that, like pushed because I was a good student, to go to school and pursue academics and that's what I did. I went to St. John's, got a bachelor's, got a master's, and then the pandemic happened. And I was like, oh my God, I live in New York and I can't go out or spend money. What am I gonna do? So, like, what am I gonna do? And it's like, oh, like, I bring up being in New York because it's like, you kind of get distracted with, going in those days, going to the office 5 days a week, being in Midtown, wearing, button downs, and it's like, oh, now I'm in my house. I don't have to go anywhere. Oh, I don't have things to do. It's like
Hmm.
I have all these books, and if I go back to my mother's house, I'm gonna have sketchbooks of like old stuff, and I've always been a habitual movie ruiner, and I say movie ruiner because I'm the person that's like, oh, they should have done that. Why did that not come back up? What was that supposed to be? So having all those ideas and then wanting to be a creative as a kid, when the pandemic happened, I was like, I have a little bit of money now. I have a bunch of free time, and I'm not super in love with my job. So let me go ahead and figure out this comic book thing and like give that the old college try, try to make something shake that way.
Nice.
Dope. But
So,
it's
was there
it's
anything? What what is going on here?
go ahead,
How is
Kyra.
it 160 episodes in? We don't know how to figure this out.
Get it together.
All right. Was there anything particular that made you decide, hey, I'm going to step into this comics realm? Like, was there maybe a particular book or somebody that pushed you into doing it? Or
I want to say it was two things, and it was one of those things where it's like my girlfriend at the time, we were doing the New York comic book scene. And when I say doing the New York comic book scene, it's like we had started going to New York Comic Con. We were going to the Schomburg, which is a library in Harlem that does a Plaid Comic Book Fest every year. We were doing that, doing other like anytime there was like an independent comic book show in New York, we were kind of going. And being that she had been with me for so long and she knew I always had these ideas, like I was always kind of talking to her like, oh, I really want to do comics. I want to do comics. And before I started my job in corporate America, I had like a mid 20s crisis where I was like, oh God, am I really gonna go work a cubicle and do all that sort of stuff? And she was at the time telling me to do comics, and I was like, all right, we had started, and then I got a job and made money and was very happy. So I got distracted.
Mhm.
But when the pandemic happened, that's kind of when I locked in. It was like, nah, I it's either now or never for me.
Yeah.
So that was like so the pandemic and things slowing down, and then I have a mentor. So within going to the New York comic book scene, I had met this phenomenal, creative creator, Greg Anderson Elize, and
We know Greg.
talking, yeah, Greg, that's my guy, man. Like, shout outs to Greg for
Yep.
being kind of the tipping point for me, because meeting Greg at his booth and finding out he lived in Brooklyn where I live, and his LC, he used to work at my LCS and stuff
Wow.
like that, and he was kind of the first person that obviously made it feel super real. Like, yeah, I've met, Kari Randolph from
Mm.
who's a phenomenal artist, and I've talked to him, and I'm a big Kari fan, or, even like I said, being in the indie scene, everybody knows about Black and meeting Kwanzaa and Tim and seeing them do it. But it's like, speaking of Greg and him giving me his email and being like, yeah, bro, if you have any questions, talk to me. And he was kind of the person that's like, all right, this Greg told me what to do. He was
Mm.
like, I got on a Zoom with him during the pandemic, and I'm like, all right, bro, how do you do this? And he's like, oh, this is what you do. Extra sequentials. You need to do letters. You need to write a script. You need to hire an artist. Artists want a page rate. And it's
Yeah.
like, oh, okay. And then from there, it was on and popping.
Man, I think it's cool where I think like comic book conventions and events like that, because I had a similar story, going to my first comic book convention and seeing that real people made like comic books, kind of opened my eyes up the same way. But normally, normal people, Omari, start with one title. They start with one title and say, "Hey, I got this one idea. You got three. You came out with three titles. You said, you know what? I got so many ideas. I don't need to wait." So you got
It's called ambition. He has ambitions.
ambition. Okay, you got ambition. So you got Snakebite, you got Dogpile, and Adastra, right?
Yes.
Right. Yeah. So what made you decide to go all in with these three? Because I'm sure you got even more ideas. So what made you decide to go in with these three together at the same time with the Blacktooth Battalion?
So I'll attribute that to my musical background. I grew up playing guitar. In addition to being a comic book kid, I was also a punk rock and like hardcore kid.
Mm.
And whether it's punk rock, hardcore, hip hop, country, for as fans, we get attached to kind of what the people we like do, like that particular thing.
Mm.
Like once an artist comes out with an album that's really like groundbreaking, everybody's like, all right, give me six more,
Mm.
of that same album. And I've seen my friends' bands, I've seen bands I've been in, like it's like the one time the band or even the artist will do something different, people are like, oh my God, I hate it. I don't like it. But it's
Mm.
like fans that jump in at that point are able to appreciate both. So kind of having that mindset and just being like, I don't want people to put me in a box. Like I don't want people to see this thing and really like it and then not give me a chance to do something that might be a little bit different. So I wanted to come out and kind of show people that, I have versatility, like show people that I'm into different things and kind of, a first impression of everything. So I wanted to come out and just let people know, like, yo, if you rock with me, whether as from the company standpoint of Blacktooth or rock with me as an artist or a writer, you're gonna get something different. I'm here to do different things. Like I'm not here to just whether like I have so many influences. So I look at a person like Jordan Peele. It's like people couldn't imagine that the guy from Key and Peele was gonna be great at doing horror movies or
Right.
something like that, or even
Mhm.
like if you look at a Ta-Nehisi Coates, like a great novelist is going to be a comic book writer. It's like it's something that's not expected, and it's like one book's a manga. Dogpile's a manga. Did you expect me to write a Saturday morning cartoon or a teen drama with an Astra? Probably not. But it's like for fans that saw me do a few things, I wanted to create that atmosphere of like Omari's going to do whatever he wants whenever he wants. He's gonna make it as best as possible. So that was kind of the epicness of that.
Nice. Now, a lot of us as creators, our first book is usually something close to us. Either it's something connected to our history, something we know are very familiar with. Is that something that you maybe did with one of those three books?
All of them in different ways. And, with Adastra, to give a short summary as I explain it. So Adastra is a shapeshifter. So she's a teenager that can be anything she wants, but she's struggling to be herself. And that's inspired by my ex-girlfriend that got me to pursue comic books, and my younger sister. I have a younger sister that's a Gemini. And for people that believe in the zodiacs, Geminis are two-faced or they have a bunch of different personalities. And being an older brother, I'm about like 7 years older than my sister. I saw her go through different phases and really be an embodiment of like you can be anything you want, because every so often she was picking up a new hobby and just trying to run with it and do that. And for something like Snakebite, that was inspired by more so a time in my life where I could have went either way. So, I remember like going into high school and similar, like I said, doing the short summary. So the main character in Snakebite, he kind of has to decide, does he want to be a hero or keep getting in trouble with his friends? And when I was in ninth grade, that's when things were getting serious. And when I say things were getting serious, it was like my friends that, might have been rough around the edges or, were getting in a little bit of trouble. It's like it got serious to where it was like, oh no, like people are really gangbanging now, or like, oh, like it wasn't just like, oh, I think somebody smoked weed. It's like, oh no, like you're actually doing this. And it's like where, you're hanging out with the even older kids, and like it was starting to get serious. So
Right.
I wanted to encapsulate that time period, and my character has superpowers to save him, but for me, I had guitar. It was like I couldn't be outside, gangbanger or jumping into the streets if I was gonna play guitar, because I had to practice. And for Dogpile, like you guys mentioned, Dogpile's a story about loss and finding a new family. And I relate that to losing my father at a young age. And granted, I didn't have seven dogs, but I had long boxes to get into, superheroes and the Christopher Nolan Batman movies and, Dragon Ball Z and Yu-Gi-Oh! And all that stuff to, comfort me in those moments and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's deeply personal, man. I know for a lot of indie creators, a lot of the stories that we tell are personal ones. Even Kyron with Starcore, I don't know what the personal connection is with Starcore, but it's purple. It's a symbiote suit.
Starcore is my love letter to Darkhawk. Damn it! It's what I would have done if Marvel gave me Darkhawk.
There it
I
is.
would have written that story.
See, there it is. It's personal. It's deeply personal. So I love hearing the connections with indie creators, because it is really, it's you have to have a passion when you are making indie comics, because it's not easy. My man got the mug and everything. That's what I'm talking about.
Oh, yeah, a little bit of branding
I
here.
gotta do it. I gotta get one. But I was gonna ask, you talked about going to school to for your education. I wonder if you wouldn't mind telling us, what did you get your degree in, and how did that or did that not help you with the comics?
It helped for sure, and I'm very appreciative of it. So I went to school for risk management, and for people that don't know what risk management is, I was going under the impetus of trying to be an insurance, work in the insurance industry. I was in a program in school that like placed us at internships, and while we were in high school, like like an after school program sort of thing, and I just happened to get placed at an insurance company, and all I ever wanted to do in high school was play punk rock or write comic books. So I wasn't thinking about college, but being at that internship for those summers and like, just doing a little bit of nothing and not having a serious direction, when, the people at the internship were like, hey, if you do insurance, you'll always have a job. So I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, I guess so. And having my mother tell me like, yo, you got to get an education, you got to do something. I'm like, all right, these people told me if I do insurance, I'll have a job. My mother's yelling at me to go to college. I'm gonna go to college to study insurance. So I went to St. John's to study risk management. Liked it. It was cool. It's business. It's business in a different way, because we're managing risk. So, you obviously have the insurance side of it, and then like actuarial side of it, and then just like corporate structures and corporate strategy. So it was definitely like really cool, and like I liked it. It also helped that I joined the frat, and I pledged Omega Psi Phi, so I was thoroughly invested in school, so much so that when they were like, I can stay on the yard for an extra year and get a master's, I was like, I'll do that too. So I got a master MBA in executive management, hung around for an extra year, and halfway through that, I started working as an insurance broker, and I was doing that for a few years, and then I transitioned and got in. I became a finance bro and got into the risk side, with one of the big investment banks, and that experience it's helped me be able as a broker negotiate. And for people that are trying to create comic books or even do anything in entertainment, talent is very important, but also negotiating, whether that's negotiating how much you want to be paid, how much you want to pay people. The art of making a deal is something I definitely learned as a broker, and customer service, not just facilitating customers, but also working with different teams, like talking to my letterers, talking to my printers, and being like, oh, this is what I need, like trying to problem solve and, you know, create a nice formal email. You will not believe how many people don't know how to articulate what they need clearly in an email.
Yeah.
Or just be able to be direct and concise, and talk, and just it's kind of those soft things. And working in corporate America, I understand that. Or even being able to balance everything that goes with having a business, whether it's we hear these buzzwords on social media of like, start an LLC, get business credit, do all that, and it's like, I actually know what that means, or like how to properly go about it and what you really need to do. And like, it's not as easy as the 1 minute TikTok, or maybe you don't need to do that yet and you can wait to get this and wait to put that in place. So it's been helpful because I've always approached this from a very structured business standpoint of like, having goals, having smart goals, having attainable goals, and, knowing, all right, I should do this when I hit this revenue threshold, or I need this amount of assets, I can expense this, I can do that. And kind of those things that more so creative people, because I've also been a creative guy, like being in a punk rock band, just buying pedals and guitars just because I need them, versus like dollars and cents and being like, maybe not yet. Like we can make this work, you know?
I'm gonna need to take some. I'm gonna need to take some classes from you because I'm still at the buying stuff because stage, and I need to stop that.
Yeah, you see, we all fall victim to it, but it's one of those things where it's like,
Like I need another sketchbook, man. I don't even draw. What do I
Yeah,
need a sketchbook
seriously.
for?
I like a funny story. Like I know if anybody's ever been to an artist alley, they see a bunch of custom tablecloths. I don't have a custom tablecloth.
Me
I
either.
have a plain black tablecloth because it's cheaper than a custom one, because I can probably get the same amount of sales. It's like I can do that if revenue is consistent enough to, justify that expense, or, if it's one of those things where it's like, oh, like if we're doing a cost benefit analysis and it's like maybe that's the deciding factor, then go ahead, I'll give it a shot. But that corporate discipline of like, all right, let's watch the string, let's watch the purses on the the strings on the purse, and like calm down a little bit.
Yeah.
All right. Brad Arney in the chat says, where can you listen to your band, your music?
So my band was called Captive Eyes. So we had two EPs on Spotify, one called The Devil You Don't, and then The Devil You Know. So tell me what you think if you do. We're a little bit decent, man. We got featured in Alternative Press, did a bunch of shows. So
I'm about to play it right now.
Bro, I already found it. I found it.
Hey, pull it up. I already know how Kyron does. He gonna find it.
You know me.
yeah.
I'm
As soon as
assuming
you
this is it, right?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
There he is. There he is back there in the back. I see you.
Yeah.
Hey, we just had a whole episode last week about black people looking the same. So don't. I had to make sure. I had to make sure this is our man.
We
Yo.
did. You're right.
All right. Well, which song should we try? We're not gonna play the whole thing.
Um,
But
I want to hear the one with the guitar solo. I need a guitar solo to see what your
So
skills.
we were a metalcore band, so it was more so breakdowns. We were trying to get people moshing. I would say play Hemlock. We did that. We did a music video for that one.
All right, we're gonna start it. We'll play like a minute or so.
Yeah.
All right, I kept it going a little bit longer because the guitar was hitting in there. So
Hey, man, I like that. That's dope. That's dope.
Thank you.
That's dope. So do y'all still get together and play at all, or?
So the band broke up, and I kind of left the band once I really started enjoying college. But I still hang out with those guys anytime I go back home. So a bunch of those, it's so funny. Like our scene, the Richmond hardcore and metalcore scene is still going strong, and it's like I have a few buddies that are like in bigger bands now, and I'm like, holy shit, like you guys are still doing this. And it's like, or even like some of the guys that were in bands are like, now we are actually running the scene. Like one of the guys that like had recorded one of our singles is like a big producer now, and another dude's like a sound guy. So
That's dope.
everybody's doing their thing.
The drummer was hitting, the vocalist, everything was there, man. Everything was there.
don't tell Danny you guys still talk, because he might be like, I need an Ace Blade song, and then
Listen, I still play. I have next to the books, I have my guitar and my keyboard, so I still play.
Yeah, and I play drums. I rap a little bit, man. We might need to get together on something, man. Come on.
I can play was it a triangle? I can play a triangle.
We get Kyron's son on the keys, man. We
my son does play My son does play piano. You're right. All right.
No, man.
He's only 10. He's good too.
That's dope. That's dope. Yeah, man. That's dope, man. I love seeing, the different. Black people are not a monolith, so it's cool to see stuff like that. It's cool to see. I definitely didn't. I mean, when you said, when you said the genre of music, I was like, man, I don't know if I can see it, but I can see it. I can see it.
Wait, you could look at
I
turn
see
your head to the side.
I see it. I see it.
I knew it right then. I knew it right then when I saw
it. But I mean, he got the chains on. He got the bling, the blingy star ring on his pinky finger. You never know. You never know.
Nah, that's all. That's all.
That's all.
That's finance bro money. Don't worry.
I love it. I love it.
So you said that Greg was like a mentor for you, and you have that business side of you. But was there something that when you got into comics, you didn't realize was a thing that you can remember?
Greg telling me about sequentials was like mind blowing to me. And when I say mind blowing, it's like just being a fan, you don't think about it. And even in an amateur artist, like, just trying to draw, like when I was a kid, sequential art is a real art form. Like there's a bunch of people that can draw pinups and commissions, but then it's like being able to find an artist to hold down a book and knowing that as you're talking to somebody in this day and age where, people are posting on Instagram or all over the place, like you need to see their sequentials. So Greg being like, hey, if you're looking for artists, make sure they send you sequentials. And it's like that way you can see how their panels look or like how they interpret panels was just like holy crap. And it's like as I started moving forward and I was reaching out to people because they had some cool stuff in their portfolio or on their page, and I was asking for sequential art, sometimes they would fall out of contention because it's like, oh, this isn't strong like this.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, oh, like you can do a cover, bro, but you can't hold down 20 pages. So that was like a thing that I didn't fathom or even begin to think about. And also, Greg was telling me about letters and making sure that the letters look good, and even just like because I'm super anal, like I've like arranged things of like, oh, I want the speech balloons to float around him to make it seem like he's having a bunch of thoughts, and like being able to find a letter that can do that or emphasize the right moments or know sound effects and things like that, or is something that you don't think about until you're in the middle of it.
Yeah, I had that same issue. I didn't think that lettering was too difficult until I started doing it myself. And then I was like, oh, I gotta conquer this. This is I gotta figure this out because I love it. I love lettering. Um, but yeah, man, this is it's dope, man. And I know we started a little bit late, but I'm ready to do quick takes, man. This is my favorite part of the show.
Yeah.
Kyron even posted a video. Was it last week about with the Temptations? That was hilarious. My quick takes. that was hilarious. So
It was hilarious and nobody saw it for some reason. I got no traction on that.
You made it, and I saw it, and that's all that matters. So ready when you are.
Quick takes.
I'm gonna have to get Omari to do us a new riff on the guitar for that. For
Dang.
next week. No, all right. So if you've never seen the show before, Quick Takes is a rapid Q&A session where we grill our guests on their deepest, darkest secrets from the internet. These questions are designed for our audience to get to know you a little bit better. And you're gonna have 5 questions, and you're gonna have 45 seconds each to answer the questions. Okay. So question number 1. There was a part in Dogpile where this little kid, I don't want to spoil it for anybody, but I'll say Miss Dogchester Lemonbottom. As soon as I saw that kid, I knew she was going to be trouble. What did that come from? A real life experience, or is that just something that you thought would be add to the story?
It's more so an adaptation of real life experiences. So for anybody that reads the book, and this came out before Sinners, but for anybody that has seen Sinners, certain people like to take things or take ownership of things, not understanding the significance or just like what's going on. So I kind of wanted to have that moment of like, just because you see this doesn't mean it's yours, and just because you can pay for it doesn't mean you can have it. So kind
Yeah.
of that like it wasn't, no one ever tried to do that with anything alive that is mine, but it's more so the idea of that situation happening to people when they already have a bunch of stuff going on.
Yeah, I loved it. With the dad being like, "Oh, I can buy it." No, you can't buy it. No, you can't buy my dog.
Dad was like, how much for both of them? He's like, I don't want
No, yeah, that's my dog. Come on. So, yeah, I love it. All right. Question number 2. In real life, if you had to get bit by a snake or bit by a dog, which one would you choose and why?
That's the weirdest question.
Probably the dog. I've never heard of any venomous dogs, so I'll take the dog.
Hey, that
Because if
would
you
be
say snake, you might get hit with a venomous one, but it's like, all right, I'll take my chances with a nasty dog bite before, a nasty snake bite.
Wait, that dog could have rabies. That's
That's
basically
true. Hey, dog, we having rabies now. Hey,
Oh,
that's just
you
about
got me there. You got me there.
about as bad. Okay. Question number 3. If you had Adastra's powers, how would you use them? What is the first thing that you would turn into and why?
I'm gonna be honest with everybody. I am a heel. I am a villain. If I was to have superpowers, everybody is in trouble. But the easy things. It's like bank teller. Like I'm gonna walk through the vault, bank manager, gonna, head of the Mercedes or Lamborghini dealership. I'm gonna drive off a new car. Uh, Depending on what movie is out, the movie usher to just sit in the movie theater, and those would be the first things I would do.
Dang, he just abusing the power straight off.
Yeah,
Seriously.
Nike Foot Locker employee, black and white, getting the newest Jordans.
He's all like, great power means my pockets get stuffed greatly.
Exactly.
I love it. Okay, question number 4. And this one, you might have I know you have a unique perspective on. A lot of indie creators don't sell their books on Amazon just because of the prices, but Amazon is one of the biggest marketplaces in the world. So I would ask you, what are the pros and cons of selling your books on a platform like Amazon?
I will say I'm speaking from the standpoint of somebody that was in music, and unfortunately, a lot of musicians, to get wide distribution, they understand that they won't get as big of a royalty. So I know, like, I could make way more money than I could. I make more money at conventions selling my books directly to fans than I do from Amazon, but that visibility is worth it in the long run. And I would implore anybody, as ownership is being talked about a lot, get your foot in the door and take that audience with you. So it's like, for the people that can find my book on Amazon, all my contact information is there. So hopefully I can build a bunch of fans. That way, in 5, 10 years, if they stay loyal, we'll pull it away. We're gonna get our masters back like Jay-Z, and then you have to come straight to the source. But initially, like, side tangent, I know this is past the 45 seconds, but
All right.
DMC from Run DMC, he went to St. John's, and I've seen him at enough conventions to where he kind of knows my face. And I asked him for advice about doing my books, and he was like, "Yo, you got to do a book like a demo. You just got to get it, like, your first thing. You got to get in people's hands." So being that these were my first releases, the pilots before the first arcs, I was like, I always went from the mindset of, I'm gonna try to get it in as many people's faces as possible. That way they fall in love with me, fall in love with the characters, and you can follow us from there. That's why you have a bunch of people that have Patreons, a bunch of people that have mailing lists, and I am a big Vince Staples fan. Vince Staples can do anything he wants, and I am going to give Vince Staples my money the same way I am signed up for Scott Snyder's Substack, the same way that I bought way too many books just because they have a Kari Randolph cover. Once you get a fan, they'll follow you anyway. So
I'm trying to get me a Kari Randolph variant cover soon for
and you will have my money, sir.
that dude is he's just dope. Him and Jamal Campbell.
Yeah.
All right. So question number 5. And we always do a top 5 list because me and Kyron have another show.
No,
Top 5 live.
Don't say that live, please.
Well, you are the creator of Lumberjack, so it kind of
okay. That's true.
So I like to get our guests to do a top 5 list off the top of their heads. So I want to know from you, and this might be controversial, so this might get you in some trouble, but I want to know, in your opinion, what are the top 5 breeds of dogs? Go.
I have biased. So all the dogs in dog pile are inspired by real life dogs of mine. So number 1 is a Pekingese. My mother had a Pekingese, and R.I.P. Ivy, she recently passed. That's number 1. I will say Rottweiler because my father had a Rottweiler. I loved it to death. Chihuahua because I had an aunt. My aunt Poogie had a Chihuahua named Gino that I loved to death. German Shepherd because my aunt had a German Shepherd mutt called Shaka, who is inspired by a character in the book. And then I don't know, I just got to think for Frenchies, man. Frenchies are just super cool. I love lap dogs, so those are my top 5.
Hey, there we go. That's a great list. Man. I appreciate you doing that for us, man. This week, Quick Takes has been brought to you by Gemini Comic Supply. If you go to GeminiComicSupply.com and enter the promo code AceBlade, you'll get 10% off your entire order. All right, Kyron, back to you, man.
All right, man. Thank you. Everybody loves Quick Takes. That's the only reason why we have any fans at all. It's just Quick Takes. But Omari, we appreciate you being on, man. We want to make sure our fans follow you, follow your work, and what's coming up with you. So where's the best spots online and your website that people can check you out?
Yeah, so blacktoothpublishing.com, Blacktooth Publishing on Instagram and YouTube. I also have been lately I've been embarrassing myself in documenting my process to draw. So I started like picking up, art and drawing. So I created an art page for that. That's everywhere. So Premium Artillery. I'm way more liberal with embarrassing myself. So you can find Premium Artillery, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, YouTube. There's a website for that as well. So
Okay.
yeah. So Blacktooth at Premium Artillery. I'm all over the place. I'm doing conventions. So I'm everywhere.
All right. Danny, what about you? Where can people check you out?
If you want to find me, come to Heroes Con in 2 weeks. Where you can find me and Kyron. Actually, it's 2 weeks, right?
Yeah, it's 2 weeks.
Yeah,
It's 2 weeks.
2 weeks. Me and Kyron in 2 weeks. If you want to find me online, the best place to go is fourthwallpros.com, where you can get all our comics. If you want to find me on social media, it's at the Ace Blade on all social media platforms. Kyron, where can people find you, brother?
In 2 weeks, you can find me at Heroes Con, traveling across the country with my wife.
Across the whole country.
Bro, it's a 6-7 hour flight from California to North Carolina. But both coming and going, it's one flight, so we don't have to worry about connections. So we're good.
Oh, that's good. That's good.
But as always, you can check me out at touristcomics.com. Find out all my books there. If you want to follow me on all social media platforms, particularly TikTok, because I'm trying to reach that creators fund level. So I'm almost there. If you can follow me, that'd be really helpful.
I'm going to follow you right now.
I hate you so much. Now, if this is the first time you ever checked out this stupid podcast, you can go to our website. That is fourtalespodcast.com. That is the number 4 TALES podcast. You can listen to our previous episodes. You can buy the merchandise. You can, do all those great things. Join us next week, where I have no idea who we are going to have, because the person that is supposed to be here has backed out. So we'll figure out something.
We're going to be playing Fortnite then.
No, we won't do that the week after Heroes Con.
Okay. That works.
Right. But until then, everybody, sayonara, goodbye, and please take care of yourselves.
I want to know what it is Quick is trying to say.